Hey everyone, how's it going? It is your pal, Sal here, and it is officially time to give you guys my list of my top 10 albums of 2020 from my least favorite to favorite. So the gist with my channel, as I'm sure many of you guys know this, is that my main focus on here is to react to discographies to artists that had albums come out years before the 2020 was a thing. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, modern day music, who the kids are listening to today, it ain't it for me. So I would rather focus on the artists that I would love to, learn and expand on, and just, I like doing that. So when making this list, especially just focusing on 2020, because there were some artists who I love that did release albums this year, this was really easy because at the end of the day, I have only listened to 10 albums from 2020. I out of the 10, these are all albums. I've reacted to all of these albums on this channel except for one. That's because we'll talk about it when we get to it. But I should also give a shout out to another album that it wasn't, because it's not really an album, so I didn't include it on this list, but The Rarities by Mariah Carey. We stan. I just bought that expensive ass vinyl, so it is what it is, but I decided not to include it on here. But yeah, so this, the modern day music, again, ain't really my groove, but I figured today we would go through and I tell you guys my favorite to, or least favorite to favorite. So the gist with this is that this is just really, like I said, favorite to least favorite. Nothing on here I honestly hate. Some I don't love, and some I love more than others, but that's just really the gist of it. So I hope without further ado you guys enjoy, and we're going to get started with album number 10. And this was the one that I really toyed with because it was between two. And at the end of the day, I put this one at the end because I wanted to be a little bit of a bitch. And when I did think of it, I was like, I think at the end of the day, I enjoyed the other one more. So number 10 is Future Nostalgia by Dua Peep. So here's the drift, guys, is that all of you guys wanted me to react to this, and I listened to it, and I have to say, it's a good album. Like, in all honesty, compared to some of the other albums I have on here, is it probably better structured? Yes. But here's the thing that gets me at the end of the day. Dua Lipa, I just found out that, well, hang on, I should say this. It's so incredibly uninteresting to me. She has no personality in her voice. She sounds like everybody else who's on the radio. Nothing about her interests me at all. Like, I kind of don't get why she's the thing right now. It doesn't make sense to your pal Sal. Regardless of that, there are some good songs on this album. Like, my favorites are Cool and Love Again. The two TikTok songs, Don't Start Now and, oh my god, I just lost the screen. But Don't Start Now and, what is it? Oh my god, what is it? Is it Break My Heart? I forgot. No, I think it is Break My Heart. Are fine. They're TikTok songs. I don't really, think of them like high art. But, and Boys Will Be Boys. Boys Will Be Boys is a good track. But, I don't really get the love that this album is getting. Is it good? Yeah, it's fine. It's a perfectly standard pop album. There's nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, out of all the artists I've listened to, and especially, with me focusing mostly on icons and, really good performers, every time I listen or like I've seen some performances of Miss Lipa, she's so incredibly dull, and I don't care for her. I'm so sorry, I really don't. I don't find one interesting thing about her. And one thing I will say is that a lot of people, I made a joke about that video that had circulated for years of the Dua Lipa having no stage presence for, 5 minutes straight. And she recently performed on SNL, and I gotta say, she has vastly improved her performance skills since then. However, and this is me, being a musical theater major, graduating with that, this woman could not be any more dead in the eyes when she performs. It's like weird almost. But yeah, listen, she's not for me. I'm gonna be, after this video and after mentioning her here, I'm not reacting to her first album. I'm sorry, I don't care about her. I don't care about what the kids are listening to, so Dua, I'm sorry. And like I said, this is just my least favorite of the albums I've listened to, but it is what it is. Okay, album number 10 is what I originally thought was going to be my least favorite album, but then after a few repeat listens, I discovered that I was liking it more. A lot of what I said in my reaction I still think holds true, but I did grow to like it, and that is Wonder by Shawn Mendes. So as you can see, I ended up getting the vinyl and I pre-ordered this before it came out. So like I said, as an artist, again, I'm not really as sold on Shawn Mendes. What I do like is that he has a nice voice and that he has personality in his voice. But the lyrics on this album are still somewhat slightly bland. And it's a shame too because the production is stellar. Like when I listen to this album, it's not really for the lyrics, it's the sounds, everything my little ears are hearing. So I gotta say, my favorite songs on this album are obviously Wonder. Wonder is just a beautiful song. But I do like Higher, 24 Hours, Teach Me How to Love You. Dream is good. It's hard to read the his font on here. What is it? Yeah, you know, honestly, it's really just the first half that I like the most, but it's where the production shines. And one of the things I love is that I also did stay on here that my least favorite song of the year, which is Monster, is not present on the vinyl edition of the album. So I have to say, that just makes the album so much better on vinyl. And like I said, I have the signed CD copy of it as well, too. But, yeah, you know what? It really, at the end of the day, it came down to, when comparing this with Future Nostalgia and Dua Lipa, I had to pick between an album that I thought the production was really good and the lyrics were bland, and the guy with personality, versus a good album with good songs, but an artist who is so uninteresting. So, you know, that's really what it came down to, is that, yes, is Future Nostalgia technically a better album than this? In the terms of the pop game, yes. But for Sal, who wants a little bit more personality, I would have liked, you know, some lesser bland lyrics, but this one just kind of surpassed it just a tad bit. Okay, album number 8 is one that I still don't love. I still feel like it's kind of overhyped, but there are some songs on here I really do like, and I reacted to this album on my channel. But it's just not my favorite thing, but I've grown to like it more, is Folklore by Taylor Swift. I ended up picking up the Target edition because I was like, why not have it? Although, TBH, I really hate this cover. I think the original cover is just gorgeous in itself, but, you know, at the end of the day, here's the thing. This was also a ship to me damaged. I don't know if you can see it, but let's just say I got to keep it for free. But, yeah, you know, the thing with this album is that, like I said, Taylor Swift, I could really take her or leave her. I don't love her. I don't hate her. It's like, I find that I feel like I should. I don't know. It's weird. But here's the thing, and that I'm also, like, I kind of like her in this, like, you know, blander. I don't even know how to say this properly. But let's just say I was not really, when the singles came out, I did like them, but I wasn't really here for, what is it, Reputation Taylor. I was kind of liking Lover Taylor. I still think I kind of like Lover Taylor a little more than this here. But what I do like with this album is that there are some good songs. I do wish that she had just released, you know, an EP and maybe tighten this up a little bit, because this album feels long. It just feels long to me. But there are some songs I really do like on here. Like, I do like The One. I do like The Last Great American Dynasty. I like Exile. I like My Tears Ricochet. I do like August. What is it, the other one? I think I like Epiphany. Betty, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about Betty. But, and the bonus track, The Lakes, is actually kind of decent, so I do like that. I just think it comes to me is that I'm just not a Taylor Swift stan. But, you know, there were some things I did find to like it. I still have not listened to the new album that came out. I don't even know what it's called. Willow? No, that's the song. Evermore. Because I was just finally learning to like this one, so I'll wait a while before I listen to Evermore, because I don't know. But Folklore is good, not my favorite, but it is what it is. Album number 7 is one that I did not expect to listen to, but when I was on my search to listen to, you know, more albums from 2020, this was the most requested album I got. And this is what I'm happy I listened to, because it is What's Your Pleasure by Jessie Ware. So I still really don't know a whole lot about this lady, but this album, while it isn't my favorite thing I've ever listened to, is sonically very pleasing. And there's a lot of songs in here that they just stick out to me, like the Ooh, La La, what is it, that one? And then there's the Push, Press, More or Less. I really do like her personality. I like the production of this album. Is it my favorite thing? Again, no, not really. But after a few repeat listens, I could see this definitely going up on the totem pole for me. And I'd be curious to eventually, not happening soon. I gotta let that, because we have plans for this channel. But I would like to listen to more of her material, but I'm gonna listen to this one a few more times, because this is the most recent one I've listened to, so I need more time. But I did like it, and I'm actually very happy I took the time to listen to it. I love a woman in her 30s making good pop music. That means something to me. Album number 6 is one that I also recently listened to, and that is Gaslighter by the Dixie Chicks. What I love about this album is that all the songs stick out. Not one sounds like another. Obviously we love Gaslighter. We love Juliana Calm Down. Hang on, wait. I should have pulled up the titles before this, because I sometimes you need a little triggering to your memory. But, oh my god, yeah, Sleep at Night. I still don't love Texas Man. That one's fine. March, Tights on My Boat. What I love is that Natalie just has such a distinct voice, and it makes this album so pleasant to listen to. The material, I feel, maybe could, because this is their kind of F-Men, the album. I think the material could have maybe switched a little bit here and there, but other than that, that's only a minor criticism. Other than that, I really do, it's really good. Album number 5 is the album that I did not, hang on, I actually should probably pull this up too. But album number 5 was an album that I recently listened to by myself, because someone suggested I do a reaction to it, but I was like, I'm just going to listen to this by myself. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I don't think anyone was clamoring for a reaction video to this. But it is Josh Groban's Harmony. So me being a baritone musical theater major, I gotta stand me some Joshy. I thought actually going into this, I was like, I think this might be the first Josh Groban album I listened to in full. And then I realized I was wrong, because I listened to his Stages album in full, and that's some good shit right there. But his voice is in top form on here. The way it starts off with the over and over, oh my god, and then the highs and the lows, oh, Joshy. So The World We Knew Over and Over is great. I love Angels, that's a very pretty song. Celebrate Me Home, oh my god. His duet with I don't really love, as a Broadway stan, I don't love Leslie Odom Jr. He kind of does. I've never loved his personality. But they sound really, really good together on this album. So does his duet with Sarah Bareilles. His cover of The Impossible Dream is great. And then what was the other one that I really like? His cover of Elvis's It's Now or Never is just astounding. So there's just a lot of great mixes in this album, and I thoroughly appreciate it. On this cover is the best he's ever looked. So we love you, Joshy. Album number 4 is one that I did not ever imagine I would listen to, but because of my discography journey for the Spice Girls, one of those lovely ladies decided to release an album this year, and that album and that lady is Miss Melanie C. This album is a whole ass bop. I mean, I was not expecting to love it as much as I did, but I actually just listened to this one in full tonight, and it still slaps. I mean, Melanie is just, I really do love her vocals. I really do like her presence on this album. The only song I don't like is Fearless, and even that one has kind of grown on me, and I'm happy because now I own this one on CD, and I just actually got this like 2 days ago for Christmas, the vinyl. But I mean, we start strong with Who I Am, my favorite song. It's one of my top 10 singles of the year. Blame It On Me. Good Enough. Overload. Oh my god, we all feel overload, and we know it. What was the other one? The In and Out of Love. Ooh. And then The End of Everything really hit me hard tonight. I was like, oh my god, because I've mentioned on the channel before that I have a friend who's not my friend anymore. And I was thinking, I was like, in just a few short months, it'll have been a year since I've talked to her. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, there was a point where she was like, if it's the end of everything. And I was like, oh. I was like, Mel, you can't do that to me. So yeah. I really did enjoy this one, and I'm happy that, my reaction videos opened me up to doing this, and I'm happy. I know Miss C, and I stan Miss C. Album number 3 is honestly just an outstanding piece of work, and that is Discar by Kylie Minogue. This album was just very much anticipated this year. This was the first artist I tackled that had an album coming out. Like I physically, or like I mentally knew that they had an album coming out, and I was like, well, it's time to go through their entire discography. With Disco, it's just, I can't express how consistent. I feel like out of all the albums I've talked about on this, yeah, I would say that this is the most consistently good sounding throughout the whole thing. Like, even though they're not duds, there's 2 songs that I don't love, and they're growing on me, but I don't love them, which are Unstoppable and Spotlight. Even though Spotlight has grown on me now that I think about it. But this is just such a good album. My favorite songs are obviously Say Something, my top single of the year. We love, oh my god, Monday Blues, Real Groove. I mean, all of them are good. All of them are good. And it's always pleasant to listen to this one, you know, having it both on CD and vinyl. It's just, I mean, come on. It's a whole bop. It's a whole mood. And Kylie did the damn thing. I think it sounds great. I'm always impressed every time I've listened to it. It's just such a good album, and I'm so glad that I get to listen to it all the time. Okay, album number 2 was my second discography journey I did that involved going in the lead up to a new album. And that album and that artist is Miley Cyrus's new album, Plastic Hearts. This album is hands down Miley's best album. Is it my favorite? No, that goes to Can't Be Tamed. But this album is so good. It is so consistent. It's just so incredible. I mean, the songs, What the Fuck Do I Know, Plastic Hearts, Angels Like You, Give Me What I mean, everything is so good. Everything is so good on this album. Miley's voice is killing it. It's just, every time I listen to it, it's just such a consistent album. There's absolutely no skips. At 12 tracks, it's honestly, you know, this might be the most consistent album on here. Well, it's hard. Oh, that's such a hard thing. Consistency stayed true with Miley in this one, and it shows. The only things that I would say is that, again, going back to Miss Peep, going back on repeat listens, it's staggering to me. Especially because I saw a comment recently saying that Dua was making the best pop music in 2020. And I was like, really? I was like, this Dola Peep is doing that? Okay, sure. Especially when we get to my number 1 album. But also in like disco, Melanie C, yeah, my ass. It's just because she's new and that's what the kids want to hear. The icons will always do better. And even people that were here, you know, pre-2010 are going to be better. Miley just killed it on here. And I love this album. I love every time I listen to it. It's just, Miles did the damn thing. And I think this album actually might have 2 of my favorite songs of the year, which are High and Hate Me. I mean, those 2 back to back. The tears are flowing. Okay, album number 1 is one that I feel like is not going to appear on many people's top 10 lists or top anything lists. And I really don't know why. I'm gonna put out some theories I have with you guys, but it's like weird to me, and especially because I was watching some TikTok recently, and some person put this as their top 5 worst album, and to me, it's like putting in this in your worst is just kind of a cop out, because to say it's bad is not true. To say you don't like it, I think that would be fair. I wouldn't put that against you, but there's nothing bad about this album, and that is Katy Perry's Smile. This is my number 1 album of the year, mainly because I feel bad for her and I connect to this album in so many ways. So we need to talk about one specific thing, and that is that the general public has decided that they don't like Katy Perry anymore. Like they just decided, you know, after, I don't even know if this really has to do with the Witness thing, but they just decided they didn't like her. And it makes no sense to me, because people were mad that she tried something different with Witness. And then she goes back to what she does best, you know, good catchy pop tunes on this album, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're just doing the same thing again. We don't like that." When 2 artists that are very pop, well, no, it's just one artist who will remain nameless released an album this year. It's the same shit. It's nothing new. If you like it, fine. That's cool. That's not what I'm saying. But it's the same shit. And that's fine for her to do the same shit. But for Katy Perry to do it, it's not. And I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But with Smile, the reason why I picked this as my number 1 is because lyrically, I don't think that this is the best album of 2020. I honestly, truly don't. But, like I would say, Disco and Plastic Hearts are better than it. But for me, this one lyrically, it just is the one I connect to the most. Because going through like the hell of a year of 2019 I went through, you know, graduating from college, having been in school for 4 years with some of the worst imaginable people, working at some of the worst jobs in my life, gaining massive amount of weight, and finally taking 2020 and just coming, as Lindsay Lohan would say, back to me. It felt right. It felt good. A lot of these songs I connect to, especially Cry About It Later, Teary Eyes. I think Daisies is probably one of the smartest pop tracks of this entire year. And here's the thing, it's too smart for the general public. They don't get it. It's too much for them. It's too much thinking. They can't be doing that. And what are some of the other ones? Resilient has really grown on me. Smile is just such a fun track. The second half of the album I don't love as much, but I really do like Only Love, What Makes a Woman. Harley's in Hawaii, I didn't really care for that one. But I think that just for me, and especially because I own the vinyl, I own the fan lenticular cover, and this is what the Target cover. And yeah, we own it. We own it all. Well, we don't own it all. My friend Henry, who I met through Instagram, he owns every single vinyl edition of this album, that bastard. So it's like, whoa. So, yeah, for me, at the end of the day, because here's the thing, like I said, this was the first Katy Perry album I've ever listened to in full. And in fact, Katy, just as FYI, our first discography journey of January will be Katy Perry. So I'm excited for you guys to come with that on me. I'm so excited to do it too. You have no idea. Yeah, but, you know, here's the thing, is that I feel like this album is criminally underrated. Is it the best album of 2020? I wouldn't even argue that. But I would argue that people just hated it to hate it. And that's not fair. Especially because you can't, like, I don't know. And people, you know, people are probably going to argue that I'm, like, doing the same with Do a Peep. But here's the difference, is that Katy Perry has been around with us since the early 2000s. We didn't know her then, but she's been with us since 2008. So I'm sorry, but she's been bringing us content for a while, and I respect that. I feel bad for her because this album is really good, but I'm also mad at her because it's like she had the damn kid and then stopped promoting the album, and I was like, sweetie, the Smilers were here before the kid, so respect the fans. Because also I hate children, so it's like I don't really care about the baby. But don't tell Katie that. But yeah, I just really do enjoy this album. I think it's so good, and every time I hear it, it just puts a smile on my face. So there it is, guys. There are my top 10 albums of 2020. What are your guys? How would you put your list? Let me know in the comments below. As always, do not forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Salvador J. Rocha, Twitter at Sal Says Stuff, and I will see you guys very soon. See you in 2021. Have an amazing night, day, because this is airing on January 31st. So if you were drinking a little drink, I'm proud of you. Have a good night. Bye.